full-time income, and so I hope we can cover kind of a broad spectrum of things tonight. And rather than sitting here and give you death by PowerPoint with a whole bunch of slides, we just thought that we just share where the vision of the company is up to, where we're headed. As I said, we're 24 markets around the world. We're 30 years old. We're $1 billion plus company, publicly traded. We're the market leader in so many countries around the world. But I think probably, if you think about our 4 values, the value of excellence in what we do in product and science development is really at the forefront of what makes Usana the company that it is today. And so I want to dig into that a little bit. I'm going to ask Brent to introduce himself and tell you about his background with Usana. Brent, sit down.
I really am incredibly tall, 6'5", and it gives people pressure when I stand next to them, and I don't like it. So I lived in Taiwan for 2 years, and I was easily the tallest person in the whole country. And I developed kind of like a little squat every time I would stand next to people because I didn't want to give them pressure, so I apologize for doing that. But my name's Brent. I've been with Usana now 18 years. I started when I was 21.
Wow.
So I
You're 39?
I'm 38. Okay, I'll give you but I lived in Taiwan. I learned Chinese, and when I came home, I lived in Utah, and that's where Usana is headquartered. And I wanted to continue to use my Chinese that I just learned. And so I was looking for a job where I could speak Chinese. And I heard of a company called Usana, and I applied for a job, and I got hired. And I was hired as a Chinese-speaking customer service representative. Yeah. So that's where I started in customer service. And that was probably my favorite job because, one, I knew nothing about direct selling. I knew nothing about Usana when I joined. Usana was about 10 years old at the time, and it's in my home city, and I had never heard of it before. And I think, like many of you, you maybe have never heard of this company before, but it's such a solid, reputable company. So as I learned about it, I had the opportunity to then speak to so many of you as you would call in and had questions, and that's where I really learned about our business and our products. And as soon as I took a manufacturing tour and I learned about our founder and I started taking the products myself, I thought this is a really great place. And I think it has the best products in the world. And so I stayed and I got more opportunity. And now, over the last 8 years, I've been overlooking the Chinese market. I used to travel to China every month. And I'd go for about a week, and I'd come home, and my body would get messed up with the time change. And I was doing that for 3 or 4 years, and then COVID hit. And it's now been 3 years since I've been able to be back. So I have such a close love for Chinese people, for the Chinese culture, for the Chinese community. And so that's why I'm here today, is just to share with you any questions that you have about that and how some best practices that we can learn for the market here. So good to be here.
Thank you. Please welcome Brent. And so some other news is this is Brent's first ever trip to Chicago. What? Chicago. No, Chicago. Tomato, right? Give me a break, I'm from Australia. So Dean, many of you know Dean, yeah, and so maybe some of you don't, so just please, why don't you give your story real quick, that'd be good.
You're asking a lawyer to do something quick? That's impossible.
For free.
Definitely not. First of all, just so good to be back with everybody again. I mean, how good is this?
Yeah.
Just missed everybody. Our team Usana hosted a dinner, Stephanie and Josh hosted a dinner, and dinner started at 6 o'clock. I left around 11. There was still people there. Walked outside on the sidewalk. There's probably another 20 people still outside hanging out, and they said, well, there's more people in this bar and restaurant next door from the team. Went in there, they closed around 1:32 a.m. And then after that, we're outside, back on the sidewalk again. Nobody wanted to leave each other. So it's just good to see everybody. I just want to say that first and foremost. But my history is 26 years with Usana. Brett, were you? Were you even born then? Yeah, were you? And it really focused on health. I was practicing law. I was a 100-hour work week person. Massive hours would work. 3 offices, downtown Chicago, office had a building in Aurora, Illinois, and in Geneva. And as time went on, I just, working 100 hours a week, my health started to go. So I went from playing college basketball, being real active as a lawyer, to suddenly having trouble getting up a flight of stairs sick. I was very sick. And what they determined that I had was chronic fatigue. And at that time, 27 years ago, they didn't know how to treat chronic fatigue. I was at the University of Chicago downtown. They said, hey, we kind of heard of it, we don't know what to do. One thing led to another. Well, at the same time, I had a brother-in-law who was looking at the direct sales industry. I knew nothing about it. And so I said, well, I'm not practicing right now. One that does a lot of research, let's take a look at what you're looking into. Long story short, we looked at 204 companies. Skeptical lawyer, right? We're gonna look at everything, ask a million questions, and then did not find any company that I could recommend to my brother-in-law. Not one. A series of issues. People didn't make their own products, to management team, they weren't members of the DSA, all kinds of issues. And I had a checklist of things that these companies were not meeting. And then he called me, my brother-in-law called me after we were kind of done with this. He was at a seminar given by a Harvard professor on the entire industry at the University of Illinois, Chicago. And he said, Dean, you've got to look at this company. I said, Chuck, we've looked at 204 companies. I have chronic fatigue. I'm done. I'm out. I said, why this company? He said, well, the founder of this company developed the first commercially available Epstein-Barr virus test kit. Well, that's what I had. And I thought, wow, maybe this is the person that knows how to help. And so kind of the rest was history. Just had such a good response with these products. Got my life back again. So a great opportunity. My law partner also really struggled with a very serious case of lupus, was getting his life back together. And we said, wow, we have something here. And then looked at the business plan and said, wow, what an opportunity. So we focused, our belief level obviously was through the roof, and the rest is history.
Yeah. It's interesting you bring that. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. And so, one of the things that we want to make sure that we can talk about, people always want to know what products are we making, what's the secret product we're making, or what's the next country that we're going into. But I'm not sure that knowing those things are going to help you grow the business that you want to grow, or make a decision about whether this is the right company to be in. So I want to make sure that we give you relevant information that can help you come away from tonight that will elevate whatever it is that you're looking for from Usana. And I think you just talked about belief. And someone asked me last night, we were in New York, and so they was asking, what's the secret to success? And it's like, oh, okay, how often do you get that? But in anything, like whatever it is, whether you're a teacher or whether you're in business or in your job or in family, so what is the secret to success? But you've talked about belief, and I just want to...
Yeah, so I get asked that question, I'll get asked that question a lot, whether it's on a cruise or convention or wherever we're at. Get asked that question, how do you become successful in Usana? Here's the good news. Good news is that anyone can be successful with this company. And I say that from the standpoint of it doesn't matter your race, gender, socioeconomic background, educational background. If you look at the leadership level in Usana, comes from a very diverse background, from people who've in the trades, to professions, to business owners. So that's not the requirement. The requirement is, and what's consistent with the high income earners with Usana, leaders in Usana, is probably 2 elements, David. And one is belief, and the other is consistency. So maybe we should dive into belief a little bit, 3 or 4 different belief systems.
Yeah, that's right. So I'll start on that. So I've been working in this industry. I've worked in and out of it, and I've worked in the corporate environment like I do now. And I've also run my own network marketing business. And I think that the thing first for me is you have to have strong belief in the industry. And like any industry, I mean, I think I lost it there for a little while because I was looking at some companies coming in and they weren't necessarily doing the right thing, but that exists in every industry, right? And so for me, having belief in us, and whether you use the terminology direct selling or network marketing or multi-level, whatever that may be, that's the channel that we're in, and that's the industry that we're in, and we're really proud of that because for 30 years we're one of the companies that has continued to succeed in that space, and there's a lot of competitors that have come and gone over the years, but so I think that area of belief for me first and foremost is really important. And so like I don't think you need to research 200 odd companies to get that, but really digging into what's the thing that will build that belief for you. And for me, it was Dr. Wentz's vision, as corny as that sounds. The founder, you know, and when I was looking at joining the company and I started doing the research, for me it was, you know, I joined probably, 20 years in, something like that, and to see that consistently he was talking about the same thing that he did when he started the company. You know, that I wanted to be able to change, I wanted to influence the lives of people through a healthy outcome. And it was kind of that simple. And I think having a microbiologist as the person leading the forefront and not a financier, or nothing against the financiers in the room, but you know, that was his real passion. So that was the first area of belief for me. What about Brett? Sure, go.
Can I just talk about the product real quick?
Yeah.
Is that all right? One thing that I think is incredibly unique about Usana is that we have more elite athletes around the entire world taking our product than any other product in the world. Now, it's pretty amazing. So in China, all of China's summer Olympians, we're working on the Winter Olympians, but all summer Olympians in China are our product consumers. So they trust Usana, they trust our product to take it, and that's what they do in order to compete at the highest level. And then you look at just in the US or every single market which we operate in, there are teams that are, it's so funny because there are other companies where they're trying to call other athletes or organizations to try to partner with, where at Usana, they call us. And they might say, hey, we want to start taking your product, we want to partner with you. And we say, well, we don't have budget for that, or we don't want to do that. And they say, we don't care, we just want to take your product. It's pretty amazing. So we have these partnerships all over the world. And I think if those people, their body is their business. Yes. And that they have to compete at the highest level in order to make money and to compete. And if it's good for them, it's probably going to be good for me. And so for me, it's good to take their testimonial, but I think the best thing that you can do is take the product yourself and see what it does, right? Take the product yourself. And with a supplement, there are some products where you take it and within a couple of days you might feel something.
Like alcohol.
Like alcohol.
Sorry.
Thank you. But with a high quality supplement, you may feel something immediately, but if you take it, the second thing you talked about was consistency. If you're consistent with it for a month, 2 months, or 3 months, just see what it does, right? See how you feel. And if there's a difference there, I promise you will likely feel something. And it's just a testimony to the quality of that product. And that's really what's made me stay all of these years. And it's funny, there are other people who have maybe left the company, but they still buy our products. And they may go work for another competing company and they might sell a different nutrition supplement, but they still consume our product because of the quality. It's quite remarkable. You'll never see that with another company.
Yeah, that's true with some associates who've gone on and looked at other opportunities, or doors were open to them and other opportunities at certain levels or whatever, but know some of those people and they continue. They always share with me. I'll never not take these products.
Can I just tell a quick story? I was recently in New Zealand. You should think I speak weirdly. Listen to them. So we, the National Basketball Association in New Zealand, we're the product supplier, we're the supplement supplier to them. And that's a huge organization. Ironically, we were also the nutrition supplier to the National Basketball Association of the Philippines. And so there's some Filipinos here, right? Go grabe, right? And so the Filipino national team came down to New Zealand to play the New Zealand national team. And someone said, who do you think's going to win? And I said, I don't really care because we've got first and second. But that for me was another defining moment where here are the two national basketball associations, which are huge sports in both countries, and their choice there of partnering is with us. And it's quite a unique circumstance that we see both domestically, I mean, we see that locally as well, with different teams and different individuals, but we see it on a national basis. But again, I'm certainly not an elite. I'm an athlete. Anyway, look, I'm a part-time athlete, right? But you know, I'm a great. The belief in product has to be there as well. So, sorry, I'll stop yapping.
Yeah, all good. On Brent's point a little bit too about seeing how you feel with the product, that type of thing. I'm sure there's many in the room, and I know I've seen this over the years, many times where people would get off the product, not feel anything. 6 months, a year later, I don't know how many phone calls I've received from teammates, customers who are new, and then said, I'd get a call, said, I got a confession. I'm thinking, oh, this is bad. Maybe something at home that's not good. And it said, yeah, I stopped taking the product, and wow, did I feel a difference, and not good. And we've heard that a lot. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be discouraged. You have to give it at least a good year. But just the background to the product, I think we really should grade ourselves in these areas. I know our team did this recently, where we graded ourselves on our belief level, right? Re-engaging here, going, where are we at on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the highest, 0 being the lowest, on where's our belief in the company, the management team, who runs the company, our facility, our 150 scientists, where is our belief level there? And if it's not a 10, what do we need to do to get there? And the products, of course. And with the science that goes in behind our products as well. I think conversations I've had over the years and traveling, most people are at 10s with the company and the product. The industry, if you need help to get to that 10 level, take a look at the Direct Sales Association website. Look at the statistics and how much has been paid out to associates and the opportunities that are there. Opportunities from everybody when they break down the data we discussed as well. That's really important process. And I have to, from a belief level, I mean, I had two choices tonight. I was supposed to either be in Washington, D.C., meeting with members of Congress for the Direct Sales Association representing USANA, or come here tonight. Well, the opportunity to be together, all of us, hang out with these guys, it was a no-brainer for me to be here together, absolutely. But my point in that is, when I've been there, and they're the attorneys and executives and people from other companies, they look at USANA in awe. They know they don't have what USANA has. They know they'll never have what USANA has. Has anyone really thought about the campus that we have? Who has that? Has anybody thought about 150 scientists? Just 2 years ago, it was like 84. Who does that, right? So help our belief level, take a look inside, because when you sit and meet with someone, I early on in starting my career with this, I would sit down after someone would enroll and I would say, why are you doing this? Right? They've already enrolled. Why are you doing this? I was looking for a financial answer or a health answer. Invariably, they would say, I did this because you genuinely believe in this. So people watch us. When you're talking, your belief will come out, right? So really, really important that we really work on that system. That last belief level, which is really difficult for most of us, is ourselves. What's 0 to 10? Where are we with ourselves? And that's something we all need to continue to work on. And if you look at the company we represent, the integrity we represent, the products, we're talking about all these athletes who come to us, thousands come to us. That should help us overcome our stuff, right? And whenever I'm not kind of advancing, the first person I look at is me. It's got to start with us. We've got this great opportunity to start with us.
That's cool. Thank you. I want to open it up for it feels like it's time for a question. And so I'm open pretty much to anything before we move on to the next element.